Well, some of the feedback, as you were asking feedback, what I come sit, Cinderella sit, was that the book felt very cinematic. People felt that they were there on location with me, and that, I gave you the wide shot, I gave you the medium shot, I gave you the close-up, right? I could move the camera throughout the room and the scene and tell you exactly what was going on to make that scene happen.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. We're going to get a little cheeky today, which is fun. Lisa's here, and we're going to be talking about all things pink hair, television commercials, writing, a lot of great stuff. I'm really excited to have Lisa on the show. She's just full of life and fun, and she has her drink there with her, sitting in the coolest chair ever. If you want to see a version of it, go to her website, link in the show notes. But Lisa Cheek is here, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. Lisa, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. I'm glad to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited.
Come on, right?
Yeah, I love the fact that you called me cheeky. I just want to say all
cheeky,
my friends call me cheeky, so I love that. You're right in there. You know what to do.
There you go. I'm in with the friends. I love it. That's good. Lisa, where are you in this big world of ours?
I'm in Los Angeles, California. I've lived here for about 35 years. It's become home.
Yeah.
I live in the Valley. Mm-hmm. I'm a Valley girl.
Okay. There you go. Oh, good. Do you have the Valley girl speak?
I don't think so.
Is that
I don't think
thing?
so. But
No.
yes, I understand it is.
Yeah. I like it. Where were you before that? Where did you move from to come to California?
I lived all over the place, but my family's from North Carolina. So I have family there, but I moved around a lot. I lived I was born in Oakland, but I didn't move back here until I was about 28 years old. So.
All right. You've had a very interesting career as well. You've done a lot of editing and fixing things and making things look and sound great. Talk a little bit about your career and some of the things you've had the opportunity to do in the past, Lisa.
Well, I was a film editor for 25 years, and I got to work a lot in different places. I worked in New York, I worked in Montreal, San Francisco. I really had a life where I was a nomad for a while. But I was always out of LA. And that was mostly doing commercials, which I loved doing. It was so fun because it was 30 seconds where I had to get your attention. Now television's different, but back in the day, I had 30 seconds where it was like, look at me. Hi, I got something to sell. Buy this product. And I loved it because I had 30 seconds to tell a story. It was just, I needed to get my point across. And it usually involved other people, an advertising agency. There was a director, that would come into my room. So it wasn't as lonesome. I did promos before that for television stations, and I wrote, edited, and produced everything by myself there. And that was very lonely, a very lonely life in a dark room by myself.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know what you're going to say, but do you take requests? Like, can I put out a book request from you? Because there's something I need from you.
Like, what kind of request? Is this, am I a DJ now?
No, well, see, yeah, that's like, do you take requests?
We had a wedding.
You're right, yeah. So here's my request. I would love a book. I'll just put it out there and see what happens. But I would love a book from you. 30 seconds to get someone's attention.
Cool.
And because here's why I'm asking. I work with podcasters and I work with speakers. I work with podcast guests. And I think that's one skill that a lot of people don't have, is how to gain attention, get the room's attention, and get across a message in such a small period of time. And I just see a gap. And I know there's people that would love to learn from your experience because it's natural to you, but supernatural for me. And I would be curious, even if it's an article or on your Substack, something that talks about your background and expand on that a little bit. But how do we capture the room in 30 seconds? I would love to learn that from you.
Well, some of it's obnoxious. Some of it's like, here, look at me, look at me, look at me, right?
Well,
and it's loud music and it's
yeah.
It can be that. But, I actually have a friend who's a teacher also, Grant Faulkner, and he teaches flash fiction, and it's becoming, I think, more and more a thing. There's also, I think there's a website out where you have to tell your story in 100 words. So I think because we're so inundated with media now, from all different angles, all different walks, like nothing's ever quiet anymore.
Right.
I think it's becoming, both of actually my memoirs are shorter than the average bear because
Yeah.
it's just what I know to do. But
Yeah.
writing a 30-second book would be probably 30 words, maybe less. It's
I
great.
love
You
it.
know, what's his name?
Yeah.
Was it Ernest Hemingway? Did the 6-word story? For sale,
Right.
baby shoes never worn.
I know. Come on.
It
Right.
tells a
That is.
story, doesn't it?
Yeah. And in a world where we are inundated by social clips and short this and short that, whenever I sit down with a podcaster, for example, and ask them to tell me about their show, they go on for 10 minutes about their show. And I'm like, you lost me. Like, you lost me. Like, I'm already on to something else in my brain. We got to get some kind of concise way of, like, that's a great example from Ernest Hemingway, but a concise way of doing and explaining what our book is about, what our talk is about, who we are, and also then be able to capture somebody's attention in such a distracted world that we're in right now. It's really hard to kind of grab somebody by their ears and go, "This is me. This is my book. This is what I'm doing, and this is why you should care." Right? I just it's a skill that I don't think a lot of people have, and your background I think would be really great to leverage and to learn from.
I love hearing that. But I will tell you the
Yeah.
things I have been learning because having had a career in film editing, I knew nothing really about writing. I mean, other than reading books.
Yeah.
And I've learned recently that at this date, I think it's 2.7 million books come out every year. So,
Wow.
on top of all the noise that goes with all the media platforms and all that's going on, when you have that many that are coming out, it's something like 5 a minute, or it's crazy. Like the numbers, and that only, I don't know, it's 0.009, like it's not even 1%,
Yeah.
are the big people. And if you
Yeah.
sell 100 books, you are in 20% tile of books
Really?
sold,
Wow. A
of,
hundred.
of booksellers. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's a good thing to know. Most authors don't sell 100 books.
Okay.
If you're looking, if that's the
So,
20%, what's the other
yeah.
80% selling?
So if you listen to a podcast before you started writing the way you are now and doing your own thing, what would have been helpful for you to hear from an author further down the road before you started? If you were pressing play on this podcast, for example, and an author speaking, what would have been some helpful words of advice or encouragement that you would have hoped to hear when you first started?
Well, I kept hearing that publishers wanted to see platforms. They wanted to see you had social media. Excuse me. But
Yeah.
I think what they're finding out now is you can have, I think it was it was some famous celebrity who, had 100 million followers or something crazy, and they didn't even sell 30,000 books, right? So like
Wow.
when a publisher is banking on the fact that just because they're following you doesn't mean they want to read your book, right?
Right.
So that I found very interesting. I think what's the most important thing to do is to build a community,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like outside of your writing. And mine have certainly been with other writers. And, but whether it's your church, whether it's whatever the interests that you have, that, I love
Yeah.
to dance. I used to have a big community of dancers, that were my friends. But I think that's the most important thing. And, with memoir, you know, the one good thing about writing memoir is that you are an expert on your own life.
Right. Yeah.
You may not be an expert on anything else, but you are an expert on your own life.
The one thing too, when I talk to authors and creative people, is I encourage them to build in public, right? So if you are starting a new project, a new book, to not hide that from the world, while you're creating it, and then all of a sudden show up with this book and go, ta-da, I wrote a book. And everybody's like, I didn't know you were writing a book. You're an author? But
Exactly.
that kind of, like, if you build in public and bring people along with you, then when it comes time to talk about the book, they've watched you through the hard times and the good times, and they've supported you as you've shared the journey of writing or creating what you're creating, and they're ready to support you at the end, at the finish line. You want
Exactly.
somebody there waiting for you,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Right? When there's a race and nobody knows there's a race, there's no one there to celebrate at the finish line because nobody knew there was a race. They're like, what? Right? But you tell me there's a race and you take me along on the journey, I will be there to meet you at the finish
It's
line.
so
Right?
true. I think a lot of people are afraid they'll never finish, so they don't tell anybody anything.
Right.
But I did have an author tell me because I was at a writers' conference in Kauai, which I'm actually going to next week for a week to study under a couple of really famous authors. And one of the authors said to me, Lisa, you're so good at getting out there, and you have met all these people before your book came out. And I said, well, I love being here. There's nothing better to me than to be in a class and stimulating my brain and surrounding myself by the people who do what I want to do. To me, that's
Right.
super exciting. And I'm not a person who doesn't feel like there's not enough. I feel like there's more than enough to go around for everybody. And I'm here to share and help you, and if you can help me in any way, that's great. If you can't, I've just enjoyed meeting you and I'm great, happy that you're along for the ride. So I would say get into a class, start learning about where the retreats are, go to be where people are doing what you want to do. Throw yourself in the middle of it.
If you write like sci-fi, then maybe go to a Comic-Con where everybody's dressed up in all their costumes and be part of the community. Like if you're a business person and you're writing a business book, then be around business people.
Exactly.
Right? You're writing a parenting book, then you should be at one of those parenting conferences or conventions or shows and bumping shoulders with people. Like be where your audience is as well.
Yep.
It's hard to do as authors because a lot of the authors I talk to are kind of insulated and private and sometimes not outgoing because they like to write. They don't want to be in front of people. But anytime you can be in front of people and share your journey, I think it just brings people along with you and builds that community.
I
right?
agree. And I love it. I started a book 20 years ago, but what actually wound up, getting published was something completely different. But I, started acquiring people, putting myself around, and then right when, COVID happened, right when they first started opening up, I took myself to the first writers conference, and there was one in Santa Fe, and I met my editor and my publisher there. And I was terrified because I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know who the speakers were. I knew nothing. Yet, there were 75 women, and I knew that they were all going to be blonde. So I went really bright pink, so I would stand out. And I actually did have people come up and say, I need to know who you are. And I was like, great. It took some of the pressure off of me to introduce myself.
That's an amazing little thing to consider. I love when people don't blend in. I love when people stand out and make it like people are curious. I want to go talk to that Lisa person over there. What is up with her? Like you attract people, right?
Exactly.
And however you do that. Yeah. I like the pink hair though. I think that's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool.
I do. I feel so natural now. I can't imagine going back to my natural color. This is it. I was born pink.
Wait, that's not your natural color? Wait a minute.
But it feels
Okay.
like it, doesn't it?
I love it. Okay, so for you as an author listening, build community, build in public, be around people that make you better. It takes effort to do all those things, but the results, right? When it comes to talking about your finished product, you'll have an audience waiting to support you. So don't be afraid. Share, even if you're afraid that you might not finish the book, still keep building in public. People are going to want to follow your journey. So however you do that. But yeah, I like that. It's good, Lisa. Good advice. All right, let's talk about the book. Let's switch gears from an author perspective to a reader perspective, because you have more than one thing for us to read. You've got lots over here on your website, and I love your website, by the way. It's
Thank
great.
you.
Can we talk a little bit about Sit, Cinderella, Sit before we jump into another topic, your other book.
Sure.
What is Sit, Cinderella, Sit? I'm anticipating this has something to do with a dog, but tell me more. What is this about?
So Cinderella sits about 4 months of my life. When I turned 45, I aged out of commercials. They wanted some young hip thing to be editing their commercials, and I just wasn't that anymore. So I was really lost and worried, that what was I going to do with the rest of my life? Because 45 is young. And I was very disappointed because I loved doing what I did, and I thought I was very good at it. But I wound up having a friend who, again, I had helped along the way. And he kept talking about making the Cinderella movie. And, in Hollywood, everybody's got a project that they're working on, right? But whether they actually get the money to make it, that's another whole thing. And it just coincided right at the right time where I needed a job, and his movie got funded. And he said, I need you to come to Yunnan, and I want you here while we shoot. So I need you here a week before we start shooting, and then you'll be here for 3 months. And so at that time, I had a little dog who I named Ron Howard, and he went with me everywhere. And I was devastated that I was going to be separated from him. But I did have somebody who looked after him while I was gone. And I took on this film that was shot in Mandarin, a language I don't speak. I lived with the camera crew, 14 men who did not speak a word of English. And I rescued 2 dogs while I was there. And it was I knew it would be the experience of a lifetime. I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but it was truly so rewarding. And I had no idea I was going to write a book about it. I just, that was not in my. I went to see a psychic after my dad died, and she told me my dad says that my dad used to read a book every day, and she said, "So your dad says heaven has the best library." And I was like, ding, 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 ding. This woman, she's talking to my dad. My dad's in the room. And she said, you'd been on this adventure, and I think you need to write about that first. I know you have several stories you want to tell, but I think you need to write about that first. So I did. I took her advice, and I thought, okay, I'm in. And it took me 4 years from the time I started it until it came out. Maybe 5.
Well,
yeah. So
Ron Howard for the name of a dog?
Yeah.
Come on. You got me with that one.
Isn't it great?
I love that.
It's funny, I'm just writing an essay right now about it. And he had orange creamsicle hair and was the cutest little boy I'd ever seen.
Oh, I love it.
Opie.
I love it. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So that's Sit, Cinderella Sit. I love that. That book came out in January?
January.
Is that right? 2025?
2025. Yep.
Okay. All right. What was the response from readers for this?
It was great.
Were you happy with?
It was my it was my first book.
Well done. Well done. I love that. I love that. So that's your first attempt at writing in this form. What do you bring with you from your skill set, from your career into writing? Is there any benefits to your editing background and understanding how that world works? Does anything transfer over to your personal writing?
I love that you're asking this question. It's so good. I'm trying to write an essay on this too. I've had people ask, will you write this and tell us what I realized is I thought I was done with editing, but writing is all about editing. Writing is, the hardest part for me writing is filling a page. Once there's words on the page, it's all about editing. And that's how many drafts you have. And I love it. I'm sorry, my dog is back here making so much noise. This is Elvis Bruce Wayne who's behind me right now.
Of course, Elvis is in the building. Yes, good.
Don't you love saying that? It's so fun.
I love it. It's good.
I know. I just love
He's a hound
calling him,
dog.
right? Yeah, he is
Nothing like a hound dog. Yeah.
Totally,
there you go.
a hound dog. So, yeah.
That's good.
I think that's what I have found is that it's all in the editing. It's all in the details and the, refinery of it. And you just keep polishing. And, so many people get bored with that. But and the more I learn about writing, the more I love doing it. It's the hunt
Yeah.
for the right word. It's the hunt for telling a better story, right? I think I knew story structure coming in, having, edited feature films and certainly 30
Yeah.
seconds, right, to tell the story. To have a happy ending. That's what, everybody wants, right? So
Yeah.
I did have that part down. It was really more about learning how to write a scene and how to tell details, how to make you touch, feel, see, smell,
Right.
right here, all those
Yeah.
wonderful senses.
So a book doesn't come with a visual aspect compared to your editing days, where it's all visual, TV, movies. So what's different then, like substantially different from writing on your own in a book format compared to the visual aspect of movies, TV?
Well, some of the feedback, as you were asking feedback, what I come sit Cinderella sit, was that the book felt very cinematic.
Yeah.
People felt that they were there on location with me, and that, I gave you the wide shot, I gave you the medium shot, I gave you the close
Mm.
up, right?
Yeah.
I could move the camera throughout the room and the scene and tell you exactly what was going on to make that scene happen.
I had one author on who writes screenplays and novels. And one of the things he likes to do is he'll pull the script for a movie, pull it up, and then watch the movie and refer to the script and see where things are the same and see where things got changed or different. And he likes to do that as kind of a check and balance, right? And I thought that was quite interesting. I've never thought of doing that before, to have the document open and watch the movie at the same time and go,
It
it's kind of
also,
like seeing how it was created, right?
yes, it does, but it also depends on what script variation you got, because always,
Right.
when I would order scripts for, because I think it's a great way to learn how to make a movie. But there were revisions on the set all the time. So
Oh
if you
yeah.
got the pink or the blue or the yellow sheets or whatever that go in, depending on how many drafts they've had. So it can seem like all of a sudden it's way off if you got a first draft or a second draft, whatever that the director got, and then it
Hmm.
changed a lot there. But yeah, it's a great way to understand how to write a script.
Is it freeing for you as an author to write without having someone look over your shoulder and give you notes
Oh
about
yeah,
how you could do it
definitely.
better?
But
Yeah.
I want to know, does this work? Is it funny? Did you get
Yeah.
my joke? Do you
Yeah.
that's one of the things too that you get instant feedback on things like Substack, media, whatever. People, you write something, put it up, and then people tell you what they like about it. With a book, it takes a long time to know whether or not it works or not.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have that person kind of with a bigger picture, maybe, of what they envision it to be. But you're everything. You're every part of what you used to do instead of a single focused piece of what you used to do, right? So
Right? I'm the set dresser. I write dialogue. I'm the wardrobe person. I'm the cameraman. I'm all of it. I love it. And to me, that's kind of
yeah.
fun, right? Although I don't like writing the scripts, I don't know why, but I
Hmm.
find them, and they are very abbreviated. So you would think I would really
Yeah.
like it.
Huh.
Maybe I'll learn to like it
Okay.
somewhere down the line. Who knows?
Okay, let's talk about the big day because that's coming up, and that's exciting. So what are we getting with the big day? Because I got to tell you, I love the cover. I'm like
Oh,
drawn to this couple together, and their faces make me kind of go, something's up here, which I love, by the way. Tell us about the idea for the big day. What is this about? And let's get into this. Let's talk about this.
so the big day is about one day of my life. It is when I came back from China. I decided after living with 14 men that I'd kind of like to live with one of my own. I'd never been married. And so I went dating and I met a man who I thought, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this with you at 49. I'm ready to get married. And so it's about my wedding day. And basically, it opens with after the ceremony, all my friends have flown in from all over everywhere. We are having our pictures made and all the challenges with that. And, my husband to be, or I think is at that point, I say, he looks at me, goes, "Did you get the judge to sign our marriage certificate before he left?" And I said, "No, I didn't know anything needed to be signed." And he said, "Well, if it's not signed, we're not married." So I'm looking at him after I'd spent 25 grand and had all these people here. And I was like, "What? We're not married?" So basically, I'll give you the quick log line because I'm working on it now since it doesn't come out until late next year. But it's basically when a 49-year-old first-time bride discovers she's not married during her wedding reception. She decides, let's see if I can get this for you. She must decide whether it's time to run while she can or stay for the man that she thought she married. So that's basically it in the log line. So you get to meet all my past disastrous relationships and why I didn't get married until I was 49.
Wow. What a hook.
It's super sweet.
That's nice.
It's sweet and it's funny.
Like it.
And I will tell you, the cover is Archaic Topper. That was the woman made it from a photo of our clothing and what we looked like, which was super sweet. I did have blonde hair, you see, at one time. I was not always pink.
There you go. Let's talk a little bit, too, about your Substack. I love authors that have a Substack because it's a great way to get emails and to build community. It's kind of like a social platform. It's got all of those things. But, like, how long have you been on Substack? And are you seeing any traction over there?
I haven't done anything since April, but I was on it, pretty regularly, but I needed to finish my book in order to, right? So I let it go, but I will be back on it. And it's called 1 Minute Thoughts from a Pink Head. Again, I don't have time. People send me Substacks that are, take 20 minutes out of my day. And I'm like, I can't do that. So if I have a good, happy thought to share with you, I do it. If I don't, I'm not going to take up your time.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. Well, I'm subscribed, so I can't wait to see when you come back and post again. I love it.
You made me very happy today. Thank you. That made me really happy.
Yeah. Well, I want everyone listening to come and subscribe to your Substack, and we'll just flood you with great subscribers, and you can even sign up and support Lisa over there as well. That's another whole level. So please think of that. I'll have links for that through Lisa's website for you in the show notes. We talked about at the beginning, building community and why that's important. Beyond Substack, how else? You go to bookstores. That's another way. How else are you building community around you as an author and what you're doing? What other things have been working for you, Lisa?
Well, like I said, retreats, classes, conferences, going to bookstores, going to your local book events. I mean, it takes nothing for you to just show up and be in the audience and, and support independent bookstores. They are the ones who are out there supporting us. And I think it's so easy to buy on Amazon. Unfortunately, I think COVID made, that's where our go-to is. But you're not going to build community there. You're not going to find your people there. You're going to find your people at your local bookstores where, they're having parties every night.
So everybody get out there and support your authors at the local bookstore. Get out there and do that. Lisa, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for your great conversation today. Really appreciate you having here. Thank you for being here.
No, I had such a great time. Yeah. I just really need you to know that you are so good at what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You are. And I look forward to listening to more of your podcasts.
Great. Well, it's fun having you on. I really appreciate having you here. But yeah, connecting with great people, it's really fun for me to have time with you. So thank you so much for doing this and your patience today. You are a very patient person.
You made my day.
Come on.
You totally made my day, Dave. You did. You started it off so beautifully. I look forward to what else is in store for me.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play as you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee, okay? I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com and also in the show notes helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5 kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.